All right. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Becoming with the hashtag I am movement. My sincerest apologies for the late start. We did have a few technical difficulties. It happens when you're doing live and we're all the powers of the internet, but we are here. We are ready to begin. Thank you so much for waiting with us. And I'm so excited to get into this topic with you all. Once again, my name is Tracy. I am the founder and managing director of the hashtag I am movement and your host and facilitator for this episode of Becoming. Right? So if you are new to our channel, I want to say welcome. And if you have been here before, I want to say welcome back. As you know, Becoming with the hashtag I am movement is a series of live conversations that explore the topic of self confidence, what affects it, and how to tap into it as a woman. So today we are streaming our fourth and final episode entitled Health and Body Positivity. And the two even coexist. Today our panel will tackle the popular debate on whether the body positivity movement promotes unhealthy lifestyles, and they will use both expertise and personal experience to do so. I also invite you, our viewers and our subscribers, to share your own thoughts and feedback via the comment section throughout the event. This is a conversation that is very inclusive, and we would love to hear your perspectives as well. So, once again, I thank each one of you for joining us today, and I look forward to engaging with you all. Welcome to episode number 4 of Becoming with the hashtag I am movement. Health and body positivity. So, like so many others, practicing body positivity has changed and enhanced my life. Growing up, I always held on to some measure of hate for my body because I was told that it was unacceptable by family, by friends, by society, by mass media. This hate severely impacted how I personally experienced life. In fact, I didn't think I was worthy of experiencing life at all. Body positivity has allowed me to shift my outlook and understand that I was more than my size. And this way of thinking allowed me to live, truly live, and open up myself to all that the world has to offer. Now, one of the biggest concerns about the body positivity movement is that it promotes images of unhealthy bodies and allows people to find comfort in being unhealthy. Well, today I want to explore that. I want to explore whether something that is designed to help you love and appreciate yourself could possibly be doing more harm than good. And I believe our panel will help us to do just that. So without further ado, these are our panelists. So first on our panel, we have Sadiqa Garcia Henry. Sadiqa is a charismatic attorney at law that holds a Bachelor of Laws with honors, a legal education certificate, and Master of Laws in corporate and commercial law. She has long been an advocate for body positivity and for mindful living, sharing her inspiration via her social media platforms. More recently, she has also been engaging in mentoring as she believes in the importance of empowering young people to live mindfully and to find their purpose beyond traditional schooling and careers. Sadiqa was a dancer and an athlete throughout her adolescence, and as such, understands the importance of having a healthy relationship with your body. More importantly, she understands that a healthy connection and appreciation for your body can be built by using movement as a tool to get to know and love your physical self while continuing to nurture your spiritual and emotional self. So, Sadiqa, thank you so much for joining us today. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thanks so much for having me, Tracy.
Moving on to our second panelist, we have Shakila Daniel. Thank you so much, Shakila, for being here. I'm so glad to see you. Shakila holds a Master's of Science degree in Medical Nutrition and a Bachelor's of Science in Human Ecology, Nutritional Sciences, and Food Service Systems Management. She currently practices out of Classy Bodies Wellness, a nutrition and recovery clinic, and holds the position of Managing Director. Shakila has presented at several seminars focused on educating and raising awareness on the powerful effects of food choices. She has worked with schools, community centers, credit unions, gyms, and sport teams to provide balanced dietary resources for both children and adults, and is also the host of a nutrition education radio program called Food for Thought on two radio stations in Trinidad and Tobago. Shakila, again, it is such a pleasure to have you here with us. So finally, we welcome Janelle Wiltshire from Shamir Day Spa. Janelle has been a member of the Shamir Day Spa family for over 11 years and is currently the promotions and marketing manager. However, her journey with Shamir began as a receptionist, and gradually, Janelle was able to elevate herself to become a certified esthetician. As an esthetician, Janelle enjoys engaging with customers and quotes that making them feel and look good is very emotional rewarding. She has had the opportunity to promote the Shamir brand both locally and internationally, and in so doing has discovered a passion that is further validated when customers are left with satisfied smiles on their faces. So Janelle, thank you for joining us on today's panel.
And thank you for having me, Tracy.
All right, so these are our panelists, and it looks like we lost Shakila just for a little bit, but I'm sure she's going to be back. And just a reminder, if you were just joining us, we will be discussing the topic health and body positivity. Can the two even coexist? Now, I want to mention that there will be a live question and answer segment that will be happening
Sorry.
at the end. Welcome back, Shakila.
Thank you. I'm having some technical issues. I'm not very tech savvy, but I'm trying.
That's quite all right. This is the avenue that we're using, and we all understand, right? So, once again, I just want to mention that there will be a live question answer segment happening at the end of this panel. So, any questions that you have for our panelists, please feel free to ask via the comment section, and we will address them as we go through the event. All right. So, I also want to mention that our sponsor for today's event is Shamir Day Spa. Shamir has been proudly making natural products for hair, skin, and body for over 35 years. The brand is founded to create a product line which has something for all skin tones, bodies, and hair types. Their services include facials, waxing, body therapies, massages, lash and brow sculpting, as well as nail treatments. As part of their sponsorship, Shamir will be offering three giveaways to three lucky attendees. So it's not just one, it's not just two, it's three giveaways at the end of this event. The giveaways include one gift voucher valued at TT $450 and two product gift sets valued at $200 each. The winners will be chosen via random selection at the end of the event. So, without further ado, let's get straight into this conversation. So I'm going to go through with our panelists, and each person is going to give their blunt, honest opinion on what is their stance on the body positivity promotes unhealthy habits debate. And let's kick off that conversation with Sadiqa.
Hey. Okay, so I mean, one of the things that we struggle with in life generally, not just with this topic, is in finding that happy medium, that balance. And I have to say that even having researched, having discussed this topic more than once, I still stand on the fence with it because there's one side where I think those of us who may have struggled with our body image throughout our lives, we understand the true importance of the body positivity movement, of being told in some cases for the first time in your life that it's okay to look the way that you look, regardless of what's on a magazine or what you're scrolling through on your Instagram feed. But even with that, there will always be people who take that and use it as a bit of a crutch, right? So there will be the people who take it and use it as a crutch to say, well, you're supposed to love me this way. And because you are supposed to love me as I am, I will make no attempts at becoming any better than I am. And one of the things that is so important in life is just consistent self improvement and growth. And that's where I think the happy medium for this movement in particular exists. So, body positivity can give someone who's not yet grown into that mental space of realizing that you can improve things about your body while loving it the way that it is. It can give them a bit of a crutch to stand on. So I think that we're going to have a rich discussion on this today because I really don't think there's one way to come down on just one side of it.
Thanks so much for sharing, Sadiqa. And Janelle, I know you had a good bit to say as well on it. So would you like to add to that?
Yeah. Well, my take on the body positivity, I had to research this because I don't want to say that I have never had the experience or to understand why it needed to be something or so major, something that a discussion then. But within doing my research, just to see what other people concept is, I reach as far as going through the people who I'm around 24/7, asking them their take on it, just to have because I'm an open person. I like to know both sides, you know. I want to know what you think. I want to know, if I'm thinking wrongfully or if I have the wrong concept of it. But with body positivity, when I think of it, I think of confidence. I don't know why. It just to me, it literally reeks confidence. And if at the end of the day, when coming to the health part of it, you will find, well, it could change the concept of that confidence. And the same thing as Sadika said, the fact that you're using it as a crutch, I could understand that, right? Whereas some people, it might just basically be the fact that they're confident and contented with who they are. Hence the reason why they might not really be looking to stand alongside the person who society puts as what a positive body is. So that's
What
my
a healthy body is.
huh?
And what a healthy body
And
is.
what a healthy body is,
Mhm.
correct. So that's my personal view on it. But I just believe that this is a really broad conversation, and I would definitely like to hear everybody take on it, just from my personal views as well, to help me along the way, as well as, to get my concept out so that, persons could actually say, oh, I didn't think of it like that.
100% agreed. And I'm just want to expand a little bit on what Jamel would have said. Uh, I am extending that invitation once again to the people who are watching. Feel free to share your own perspectives and your own take on it because at the end of the day, we're all here, we're all learning, we're using expertise and we're using experience, of course. But what you would find is that we all would have different perspectives on this because it is a broad topic and it varies according to each person. So feel free, please share with us in the comment section. Shakila, how are you doing?
Ooh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Hope you guys are hearing me. Yeah,
Yes, we're hearing you very
great.
clear. Great.
I'm
How
so happy.
mhm. Would you like to share your take on that particular stance? Does body positivity promote unhealthy habits?
All right. Well, okay, I'm the nutritionist here, right? So, and everybody waiting to hear, what I have to say in terms of really health with it. So, I just got a little, background on me myself and why this topic is very dear to me. I actually, if you find me on any social media, my handle is the curvy nutritionist, right? I remember, I remember when coining that name, it was such a walking oxymoron. I loved it. And it really speaks to who I am and who I have been all my life. I would have shared with you, Tracy, personally, my own struggles for my entire life, right? Of being what I understand now professionally to be an endomorph, having an endomorph body type. And, you know, also experiencing the assumption that you're unhealthy because you look a certain way. So I do think body positivity, if I am to be objective, which I try to be as much as possible. And good afternoon to Sidika. I'm glad I am an administrative attorney, so having someone here fellow with law, I like that. And having
Yeah.
a legal mind, as you know, would require us most times to be as objective as possible and think about the other side. Yeah. And in doing that, that is the approach that I take to my practice with nutrition as well. Body positivity, as Siddiqa would have said, it can allow for, it has the ability to encourage persons to have a very relaxed view of the expectation for their body and their health. But it's also important to prevent psychosocial abuse of self. So I think it's a balancing act all the time, and it's really important that if we are speaking of body positivity, we are very responsible in terms of the message that we are trying to promote and project. Right? It cannot exist in absolutism or extreme, which I think nothing does in life. Yeah. So there's always several factors to consider and to balance, the good of all and the good of one at the same time, which can be a bit difficult. So my take on it will be that we need to have discussions to see how we can find, and in science we call this homeostasis, which the body is always trying to find balance in the discussion, and how we can, as professionals, contribute to a very responsible view of body positivity and health.
Yes, that was that is such a great way to put forward that, because you're right. It is about having conversations and having accurate conversations around it.
Yes.
It's not. It's so tricky because you're playing with how you feel and what is good for you.
Mhm.
You know, so I think that's where the trickiness, when it comes to body positivity, for me, I like to think of it as almost transcending. So it is about tapping into, what makes you feel good about yourself, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with feeling good about yourself, but you must also have that sort of foundation where you know what is good for you. And very interestingly enough, we spoke about this when we talk about the psychology of self love. Um, Sometimes you have to be tough on yourself, and that in itself is a form of love, but you have to give yourself that tough love to know, okay, I can feel good about myself, but doing X, Y, and Z, I don't know, maybe going back into a toxic relationship is not good for me, you know so it's definitely worth it having those sorts of conversations. And we have our audience, our viewers, they are weighing in, and they're weighing in quite heavily. Maki Star has said she does not believe body positivity encourages people to be unhealthy, but it doesn't focus on health alone. 100% agree. I believe that your mental health also needs to be in agreement with your physical health. Thank you so much for sharing that, Magista. And I'm sure our panelists agree with you 100% there.
Yeah, I think she raised a good point in terms of the mental health part of it. And I know that Shakila would have just brought in the psychoanalytical side of this and of self love. And the mental health being tied in with the physical health becomes so important in ensuring that that kind of system of using the movement as a crutch does not take root in people. So there's when your mental health is balanced, and when you find that mental health and that I love the way I look, but that does not mean I should have three more slices of cake.
Yes.
Because, or I love the way I look, but I should go for that morning run. So it really does have a huge mental element to it that, to me personally, as somebody who works out 4 to 6 times a week, the
Wow.
mental is more difficult than the physical. Your
Yes.
body could do almost anything that you decide it's going to do, but the mental side of it, because your mind and your subconscious is a difficult thing to control, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. and a lot of discipline. So sometimes I actually use the physical to train the mental,
Mm.
right? And that's why, I mean, I anyone who follows me on social media knows I am not the tiniest person. I have a lot of shape, a lot of curves, and I am not ashamed of it. But that came with years and years and years of building confidence, sometimes by myself and for myself, because you have to do it for yourself. So I think that's beautiful that our listeners are in that space where they know that the mental has to tie in with the physical.
Yeah.
I'm seeing another comment from Huda Mohammed. I don't know, Trace, if you want to read it or if you want me to read it.
Feel free.
Yeah. A big part of well being and health is learning to combat things like weight stigma and self acceptance and compassion toward yourself to increase your body positivity. I
Yeah.
love that. I don't have a thing to add to that.
It
I,
does stand alone, right?
Hmm.
I
Sure,
want to
Tara.
address the weight stigma that she would have included there, and I deal with it a lot as a clinical practitioner. I actually got into this because of suffering from that weight stigma. So when I was studying law, law is very hard, right? I mean, even if you love it, and it requires a lot of studying and mental just fortitude, right? So I was at a point where I was just eating and studying. And I think I gave Tracy the story when um, I decided to switch nutrition was when I recognized that I was heavier than my mother, heavier than the person who brought me into the world. And that was a personal decision for me that I said, okay, I wanted to make certain changes. However, the stigma that I would have experienced my entire life of not being the size of my other cousins or other girls growing up in school with uniform fits differently, you can't wear every and anything. Like I have big boobs, right? So that struggle of getting the right bra size, and you can't shop any and everywhere. Like, you have your own thing that is unique to the experience. And then sometimes you can find yourself even bullying yourself
Yeah.
because of the way you look. I try to manage that with my patients who come into the clinic in terms of understand. You see that weight stigma, your weight um, doesn't always translate into your health status,
Hmm.
right? And what we do at the clinic is that we do something called a body composition analysis. So we let them know, okay, what does it um, include? It's not just fat, right? And I think sometimes when I do that with my patients and they see, oh, it's muscle and it's water and it's bone and it's so many different things, they feel, better, different about themselves. And also your weight, like you can have two people the same weight and they look very different,
Completely different.
completely different.
Yeah.
It's all about body shape and so many different things. So I think that we need to also, get that stigma, have the conversations to change that. Nothing is wrong with having curves, being a Caribbean woman, sorry. We need to stop apologizing for how we look
Hmm.
and understand that healthy could have different looks on everyone. 150 pounds, 180, 200 pounds looks different on every woman, and we need to embrace that understanding and respect it.
Now, could I chip in there just to go ahead with? It's so funny that you talk about the weight and the different sizes, right?
Right.
And one of the persons who I actually asked was my aunt. She lives away, but she was down here for a little short period. So I asked her about it, like what she thinks about health and body positivity. And she had the same concept to me in the sense that it's a broad conversation, and at the end of the day, you have to know every single detail of someone. So you really can't just judge someone and be like, oh, that person is unhealthy. You don't know what they're really dealing with physically, mentally, spiritually, anything to that. And she's telling me, well, she's into gym and fitness and stuff. I'm not. I try all hard. It don't work out for me. I start and it just goes dead right right after. But she's into it and she's telling me she went to her doctor and stuff and the doctor told her because of her height, she needs to be like a 130, like 130
Wow.
pounds and so forth, right? Because of her height. Now my aunt told me her crackhead size was 150. I didn't quite understand when she said it until she repeated it. Because I was like, okay, this must be a statement that the doctor used. When she, after explaining, she then turned around and said, her crackhead weight is 150. In the sense of after when she reached 150,
Eddie.
what he starts to suck it. She starts to look like a crackhead. So in
Yeah.
my mind, it's like this is the same thing I'm talking about. That this is such a broad spectrum in the sense of what what people indicate or what people tell us that our healthy body looks like, and what your weight's supposed to be or what your
Yeah.
size supposed to be. Don't always coexist with
Correct.
what your body really needs, and what
Yep.
because if you tell me 130 is supposed to be my weight, but by the time I reach 150, people will be like, "You sick? Are you sick? You need it's
And
everything."
BMI.
Many people, sorry.
Now, I just wanted to talk about the BMI thing because that BMI is not for any and everybody's ethnicity. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times we don't talk about that in terms of medically. We
Yeah,
know that is built on the Caucasian model
correct.
and different ethnic group. Actually, when we at the clinic, we have that. You have to fill out that as part of the patient's anthropometrics, their age, their height, their ethnicity. So you have to take that into consideration, and that's why I don't use BMI for most times.
Yeah.
Before we move forward a little bit, because I love that we're getting so into this. And the thing is, you all have already started to answer the second question, which is what does health even look like? And I love,
Yes.
Sheila, that you started to bring up the whole idea of BMI and who that applies to. So I really do want to put this out to you, right? In your, I guess the question is personal experience, but I really want to hear professional expertise as well. What does healthy look like as a Caribbean woman?
Mhm.
Okay, so I would say healthy for any woman, any human being means balance and homeostasis. Actually, if we were to scientifically define how as a practitioner, I would class a healthy person is someone who can physiologically consume, masticate, and digest food optimally with the objective of full and thorough organ function
Mm.
and adequate and frequent excretion. So I don't understand that there, right?
But Shakila, before you explain that to everyone, what I just heard from you was a lot of things happening internally that had nothing to do with physical appearance,
Correct.
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And that's where I think we fall down a lot of the times because we've been trained so much over the years to see what a magazine image says. And so I always go back to the magazine image because I'm sure at some point on social media, everyone has kind of seen those images that say the perfect woman, 1920s, 1930s, coming
Mm,
up. It changes. And
yes.
it is a social construct. Somewhere in the comments, someone said social construct, and I love that. It's
Yes.
a
Yes.
social construct, and it changes with time. So before the
Mhm.
Kardashians came onto the scene and started cinching waists and growing booties and
Mm.
so on, it was this kind of stick
Slender.
thin,
Yeah.
super slender image that we all, over the years, it became very unhealthy for supermodels to maintain. And we went through that kind of growth spurt as a society. And when I say that, I mean global society as well. So I love that what you just explained deals all with the internal and very little with the external.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, there we go. That is
Right.
the biggest chunk of what I took away from that. A lot of medical speak. Thank God I have that little biology, background. But at the end of the day, it comes back to what is happening internally. It's intrinsic.
Yes.
I feel like that's a conversation when you're talking about what health looks like, and if you want to define whether I'm healthy or not, that's a conversation between you and your doctor.
Hmm.
Or a
And it's
nutritionist.
all nutritionists, 100% I'm with you there. But it's not about how you look.
Hmm.
That's what I'm taking away from this conversation. And I think that's a strong point to take away as we go into our break. We are scheduled for one, but the conversation has already kicked off. It's on a great note, and I'm definitely looking forward to having going even deeper into this conversation. So, guys, stay with us. We'll be back after this break. All right, and welcome back to episode number 4 of Becoming with the hashtag I Am Movement, where we are discussing, and let me just say we're having a very charged conversation here about the topic health and body positivity. Can the two exist? Now, before the break, we would have explored where each panelist stands on the health and body positivity debate and why. We would have also looked at the concept of healthy, what it looks like, although we have explored the idea that it's not about what it looks like. It's about you internally, what it is, having that conversation with your doctor or nutritionist. So we would have looked at that. And as we move forward in the conversation, we will be exploring what self confidence has to do with it. What role does one's health play in building a foundation for self confidence? And I think I'm going to put this question towards the nutritionist that we have on board, Shakila. For women who have undertaken more healthy practices, what changes have they experienced, and how do these changes impact their self confidence?
All right, that's a beautiful question. I think when we make changes, I tell patients that so essentially a lot of times they come to the clinic and they want to lose weight or they want to gain weight, and that's please include the persons who need to gain weight
Yeah.
as part of this conversation, to please, because they go through also a lot of abuse and negativity about the way they look, especially in the social setting of now, where social media has gone to the more curviness and curvy girls in style, I must admit, right? But then the others who don't have these things, they also suffer as well. But I tell women and men that we approach weight management as symptomatic, meaning it's a byproduct of changing things inside. It's not the main focus and the goal. It happens just as weight gain or poor weight loss, or weight gain and weight loss is as a result of things not working out in your body properly. So, for instance, what do I mean? Many women suffer from PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It happened to be my thesis for my master's, and speaking about that, the prevalence of it in the millennial generation, with the introduction of fast food in the Caribbean. And we have a definite correlation with that. As a result, many women suffer when you have PCOS. Not only is your menstruation irregular, but your weight is fluctuating all over the place. You have hyperpigmentation, the skin darkening, mood swings, etc., etc. These things, your weight gain then is as a result of something else happening internally. It's not because you're lazy, not because you're greedy, not because any of these things, but you have that going on, right? Now, when they start to make changes that is designed and geared really to help their ovarian function improve, then the other things happen as a byproduct of that. And even when they start to feel better, because it's an internal thing, when your body is functioning better internally, your mental health also improves because you're not as tired as you used to be. You have more energy, your skin clears up, your teeth whitens, all these things as changes, as a result of changes, and it contributes to all wrong um better confidence, because we all honestly we want to feel our best self, and we want to look our best selves to us. At least it should be to us, right? We also, let's be realistic, ladies, when you're in a relationship, you want to feel attractive to your partner or attractive to a potential partner. That's a realistic thing. Nothing is wrong with that. Of course, we're not encouraging extremes, but all these things I have heard my clients really discuss and talk about it. It's getting better when they make their changes.
Thanks so much for sharing that, Shakila. And if I may, I just want to, if you can share too, what are some external manifestations of that self confidence that they um, tend to exhibit once they've made those changes?
One of the things is that they are a lot more willing to get involved in physical activity. So I heard Silika say that, she exercises 4 to 6 times, I found a lot of patients, they're really reserved with even wanting to do any physical activity. So I don't really push them. But when they start seeing that those results and they start feeling better, they're a lot more inclined to get involved in physical activity and do it in a group setting, right? Because honestly, sometimes they do feel very uncomfortable and judged in these spaces, right? I see the confidence with them as well in terms of how they dress. So they start trying on different styles and being more inclined to shop because they're like, oh my God, Shakila, my waist, and I could put this on now. And you see that confidence changing. And again, as well with their relationship. So we're big women here, right? We discuss sexual activity as part of sex health is part of health as well too, and they have reported having a better sexual experience with their partner, because if you are confident, that will definitely affect not just sexual performance but willingness to even engage in sexual activity. So I've gotten commendation and thanks from husbands and wives about that. So these are some of the things that I have seen assist people when they feel better about themselves and when they function better.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Shakila. I am, a lot of that is resonating with me, but I'm not going to share what exactly. In fact, I'm actually going to divert that a little bit of that to Janelle, because you deal with with bodies, physical bodies of women in a different way, and I'm sure you too would have seen changes in them. You have repeat customers and they change over time. So, how does your work with Shamir? How does that impact how people see themselves, men and women? And what kind of external manifestations do you see as a result of those changes?
Well, I could definitely agree with everything that Shakira just said because you do see that change when people actually start to feel more confident or accepting of themselves or loving themselves. And one of the major things that I do for my company is I use myself as an example through everything I do. And the reason for that being is because I am polycystic and I don't have any of those symptoms. Any. So within that, I try to let customers know that, don't feel that because you have that situation, this have to be your outlook there, right? And it's not to say that I did anything major because I didn't, right? I just think that I did not, I didn't get the whole side effects of it, right? But I did part that I got was the up and down weight scaling, right? So 1 minute I would be slim, next minute I might look, a little bloated, and usually I'm slender body wise, but I have a high stomach. So I deal with customers being like, "Oh, you're pregnant? Congrats!" I've been dealing with that a lot. But these things, no, don't be sorry. Everybody was like, "Oh, don't be sorry," because what I tell people, right? The difference with me is that I am so contented with me, right? That it won't affect me because I understand why. And they don't know what I'm going through. So they're just going by, what they see. So when I do speak about it or I do let them know, they'll be like, so why are you so confident though? And I'm like, but you have to love yourself first before you can love anybody else. And we all love people. So if we share love to people, then we must be able to love ourselves. So with our spas, when we talk about foundation, it goes the same way. I have customers who will tell you that they won't even go to the shop without makeup on their face, right? I have customers who will tell you that, because of polycystic and stuff, they have marks and scars and stuff on their skin. They won't wear a halter back top and so forth. But I try to let them know that there is a balance, and I believe in that. Like my personal view on that is that life is a balance, and if we don't balance both sides, we defeat the purpose of what the outcome could be. And the reason for that is if a customer comes to us to get a service to help with acne because of polycystic or to help with back knee because of this, at the end of the day, we have to let them know that they have to work on both sides. You can't just, yes, we want the money. We're not going to say no about that. But I'm not going to leave you undone with just my part of it because doing my part is not going to help your entire situation. You have to get that medical treatment as well because, as they said, there's a lot of internal things going on that is creating the problem of external. So if I deal with the external part of it, you need to make sure and go to your gynecologist to deal with, or even a nutritionist to deal with the internal part of it, because there have to be a balance, and there will be no outcome if there is no balance. There will be no outcome if you don't deal with the both, right? One don't cancel out the other one. They both have to cancel out together, not that way. And I can tell you with customers who transition from having acne skin to regular skin, ooh, you don't want to see these women and then walking out in public with no makeup. You can't even talk to them. They're like true superstars. So we know for a fact that when they walk out that door, or even when I finish with a facial, my first question to them is like, how was everything? And I just look out to hear that, oh my goodness. Now they haven't seen their face, but they feel it. And that is where that touched me because if you can feel it, that means that by the time you see it, we sell everything sell itself. So when they say, "Oh, I feel the lightness, I feel the cleanness, I feel the renewal of the skin." So um, I am the marketing manager of my company, right? In promotion. So I tell people when I start to talk, the passion that fly out of me tends to gravitate to our customers. So they literally be like this. Oh, so and this is something that they're going through, right? But just because I'm explaining what they're going through for them to understand, they tend to be so at oh like, so that is what I was doing wrong. So that is one thing I could say that as long as somebody is contented with their outlook or even contented with their changes, you see it automatically on their face. Sometimes they don't even have to say anything, you see it automatically on their face. They tend to walk like this now. All the time was like, hi, I need some help. After they get through that process, hi,
Yeah.
I would like to book my next appointment, please. So yeah, definitely. I love it. I love what you're doing. I think I might need to call Miss Daniel because she will because most of the time they ask, do you all have anybody who I can go to? So don't be surprised if you start to get some extra calls when I do,
I welcome it.
you
We
know?
love to see it. Women propelling other women. We're
Yeah.
here
Yeah,
for it.
definitely.
And
Definitely.
guys, I hope you all are really paying attention to what is coming out of this conversation because one of the recurring thoughts is that it starts with you. It starts with knowing who you are. It starts with self awareness. It's not just I want to be confident, and I don't know. I used to ascribe to fake it till you make it, and while that has some sort of credit,
Yeah.
it's still you still have to do the deep work.
You have to
You
work, yeah.
still have to do the deep work. Sadika, do you have anything you want to share on that final question there?
I mean, I think these ladies have done such a good job explaining. What I would say is that the self-confidence side of it, it comes while you're working. So for me, and as somebody who works out, it's easy for someone to decide that you don't look good or look fit or look healthy. But you know what helps that a lot of the time? If you know that you're waking up, you're putting in work, you're eating your vegetable servings, and you're going to the gym, let's be honest, guys. Someone telling you what they don't think you are and you knowing what you are, one of those things has a bit more power, right? And that's where doing the background work comes in. It becomes a lot more difficult for someone's negativity to take seed in your life if you know what you are doing on a day to day basis to build yourself, to improve yourself, to live a healthy lifestyle, regardless of how you are shaped physically, right? So, I mean, I don't think I can add other than that, but just Tracy already said it. It starts with you, and it starts with baby steps as well. So you don't have to go to the gym every single day of the week. You could choose one day when you know you wrap up work early to go take a walk. And just the sun, just getting some vitamin D. And I actually have a very close family friend called Auntie Liz. She always says that, and it's so funny because I don't like to work out in the middle of the day, right? And she always says, "But you have to get in your vitamin D." And the reality is, during COVID, Tracy has known me for a very long time since primary school. I have always been very blessed with extremely clear skin. During COVID, the lack of vitamin D in my life, I will tell you, I actually started breaking out. And I only put together that it was the vitamin D when I started back going into the sun to work out, right? So just finding that healthy balance of what your body needs from you. And while no one ever really wants to hear this, it is trial and error sometimes. Getting to know yourself, just like getting to know your coworkers or your partner, takes time. So give yourself grace and give yourself that time, and the confidence will build while you do that.
Thank you so much, Rika, and thank you for ending on such a strong note. Like I said, this is such an energized conversation. Now, these women, they are just like kind of funneling through all the questions that I have prepared, which is 100% good. Because our next question is actually, what is the foundation for strong self confidence? And they've already said it. It starts with knowing yourself, it starts with doing the work, and then it starts to show up in you. And as just to reiterate what Silika would have said, once you know what you are doing and you know that you are working within your best interest, what is best for you, then nobody can tell you otherwise. And I think that is a good note to cue for a break. So we'll be back after this break. Welcome back to Becoming with the hashtag I am movement. I am Tracy Chewett, and I am so glad to have you all with us. We are at the 6 o'clock time break, but we did have a little bit of a delayed start, so we have some more conversation to go through. So at this point, I just want to highlight once again our sponsor for this panel, Shamir Day Spa. Shamir has been proudly making natural products for hair, skin, and body for over 35 years. They are inspired by the mosaic of Caribbean people, and the brand was founded to create a product line which has something for all skin tones, bodies, and hair types. Their services include facials, waxing, body therapies, massages, lash and brow sculpting, as well as nail treatments. And I know we are all looking forward to it. As part of this sponsorship, Shamir will be offering 3 giveaways to 3 lucky attendees at the end of today's event. The giveaways include one gift voucher valued at TT $450 and 2 product gift sets valued at TT $200 each. And the winners will be chosen by a random selection at the end of the event, which we are nearing. And I would just like to extend this final question to our panel, and we have addressed it throughout this entire conversation. But let's just leave it as something to leave here for our viewers and our subscribers. So we will start with Sadiqa. If you would, can you tell us, for the women who are struggling to tap into their most confident selves, what advice can you lend them?
I think I would have said it just now, and I'll just repeat it. Give yourself grace. So don't expect it all to happen overnight. And, part of giving yourself grace is also remembering when you see a woman who's truly confident in your mind, because she might be battling with something you don't know, remind yourself of that side of it. You're not sure what she might be going through now, what she may have gone through to get to that point, and always remind yourself that it's a journey. So the grace needs to be woven through all of that, and just take a step back on the days when it's hard. Don't berate yourself further. So we tend to be very hard on ourselves, and sometimes we get into a slump, and your first instinct in that slump is to I mean, use Caribbean terminology, even though we may have foreign viewers and listeners. But you'll give yourself a little buff, a little further buff, right? So you're already feeling a little bad about yourself, and then you start to buff yourself about feeling bad, like why you're feeling bad about yourself, right? So try not to do that. Try to say, okay, so I'm feeling bad about myself today. I'm gonna give myself I have 2 hours. I'm gonna whether whatever your comfort is. I'm giving myself the next hour of my 2 hours to feel crappy. So not force myself out of it, and just go with that. Sometimes you have to listen to what you are feeling and allow yourself to feel it before you can work through it. If you try to push too quickly to the work through side of it, you end up bouncing up on the negative side of fake it till you make it, which is it comes to a point where you're just faking it. You're not moving towards making it anymore. So listen to your feelings, analyze them. And I know I said this on a previous talk, Tracy, but journaling helps me personally when I can't in a structured manner unpack what I'm feeling. I don't. I just write everything down, every fleeting thought onto a page, and you read it when you're in a more level space. And then you can analyze what impacts you, what are the things that really tick you off. So Tracy might tell you something that doesn't make you feel anyhow, but if Shakila says it to you, it actually hurts you really deeply. And journaling sometimes helps with just being able to identify that. So learn to allow yourself to feel, deal with your feelings, and give yourself grace while dealing with it and while moving to the next stage. And confidence will eventually come from that.
Amen. Thank you, Sadiqa. Janelle, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Well, I think I said my part too, but I think I'll just sum it up to the three C's basically: caring for yourself, confidence, and definitely being contented, right? And once you be able to do that for yourself, believe you me, everything else will come into play. That that statement, fake it till you make it, we all live by it at some point. But at the end of the day, I really believe that when people are contented with themselves, and I'm not talking about contented with being a crutch of, see me, I just go and eat the pizza, yes, because I want it. I mean being contented with what you want for you, right? Loving you basically. So at the end of the day, it might take you 7 years, it might take somebody 6 months, but you be contented with your journey, you be contented with yourself, and the caring part will definitely fall in after that, and then the confidence will definitely shine after that. So make sure and keep those three C's, especially when you're feeling down. Care for yourself, be contented, and your confidence will definitely be always on point.
Love it. Love it. Those three C's. And Shakila.
I'm smiling because I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. And I, why I'm laughing is I have three pieces of advice too. You know, therapy, God, and remembering who pays your light bill. Like, listen, I I tell people if someone is not contributing to my bills in terms of me being here, then I'm
I
trying to
was more
find
about to
where
do
your opinion needs to matter because and that's something as especially when I got older. I mean, I really never had a problem with. I was always a very opinionated child, and I really had a difficulty with understanding why some people um put so much emphasis on other people's opinion,
Mhm.
right? I understood it, of course, in my adolescent years when I think you're a lot more self-conscious and every the world is against you, etc. But I practically tell people, listen, if someone is not contributing to your life being better and the significant things that mean something to you, then try your best to ignore it. Social media is fake. Everything that you see on there is your perspective of a reality, and persons manipulated for different reasons. Do not measure yourself by that. So remember who pays your bills. And then on a more serious note, for me, I found the importance of therapy. My mother would have been killed 4 years ago in a car accident with my aunt. It definitely has been the hardest thing in my life. I would have experienced existential crisis, who am I? Why am I here? How do I continue? And therapy has really, really helped with that. And it's not just that, because I mean, that contributed to a lot of my weight gain. I, for the first time, would have experienced um, dealing with depression and PTSD and having to take antidepressants, and I became a factor nutritionist. That's the reality of it, right? But having therapy to go through that and understanding what has happened. Do you know who you are? Do you understand all that has happened to you? Do you want to continue living like this? Three very important questions that I learned from therapy. And of course, having a functional, healthy relationship with God or whosoever you believe, if there's a higher power that is responsible for your existence, having that spiritual connection. I think all human beings, we have a need to be satisfied, to be accountable for something greater than ourselves. And when we tap into that, you really get a better version of yourself. That being accountable for something greater than you. So that will be what I close off with. Find your spirituality, find your tribe, do therapy, drink water, and remember who paying the bills.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for our panelists for sharing your perspectives with us and sharing that last bit of food for thought that you can take with you as we go forward. So we are here. We are at that time where we are about to announce our giveaways. I know you guys have been here and patiently waiting. Shakila, there is a little bit of condolences coming from one of our viewers for what you
Thank
would have been
you.
through.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so we will share our screen and we will get into those giveaways. Janelle, if you would like to announce on behalf of Shamir. All right. So let us spin the wheel.
Charles. See.
Well, congratulations, Chelsea. Right, on behalf of Shemaine, right, you have won yourself. The prizes will be given in order, right? As in the gift voucher first, right? So you have won yourself a gift voucher for deluxe head to toe body massage, and as we all say, this would actually help you to rewind, refresh, recharge, renew, everything that you can think possible. So congratulations again, Chelsea, on that winning prize.
Oh, sorry. And now we will do our draw for the two product gift sets. Yeah.
Congratulations, Miss Thing, right, on winning on one of our product gift set. You definitely will enjoy it. It will be a full regime, right? I'm not so sure yet whether it will be for skin, hair, or body, but you will definitely enjoy it.
Yes. And let's do our final spin.
Oh, nice. Ooh, start by Sarah.
Good. Congratulations again, Style by Sarah. On behalf of Shemay, we would want to give you a gift voucher, a gift product package actually, and we do hope that you enjoy it when you receive your gift.
Okay, great. So thank you so much for being a part of our giveaway promotion, and congratulations to the winners. Thank you so much to Shamir for sponsoring that give those giveaways. And it's such a high note to end our conversation on health.
Truthfully,
Yes, Shakila.
I wanted to impromptu also do a giveaway on behalf of Classy Bodies Wellness. I got clearance to do so, if you guys would allow me. And so I know we spoke about BMI and the importance of knowing what's going on with you. A huge part of body positivity and confidence is, especially in health, is knowing your numbers, knowing where you're at. And we have decided as a company to give away to one lucky person a free body composition analysis and nutritional analysis courtesy Classy Bodies Wellness, if you would allow me.
Definitely, we love giveaways here. So, of course. So if we can share the screen one more time so we can conduct that final draw.
Yes. Let's see.
There we go. All right. So let's spin the wheel and Shakila, you'll announce.
Sure. Anika. Congratulations to Anika Mackenzie. You have won yourself a free nutritional analysis and body composition scan. Courtesy Classy Bodies Wellness, you'll be able to get 9 different readings, as well as overall medical nutrition analysis of blood pressure, blood sugar, blood glucose. We would contact you. I don't know how I'll get the information and give you what you need to do before you come to be able to benefit from it. And this is the start of something great, hopefully. So, congratulations, Anika.
And congratulations again, Anika. Yes, Shakila, I'll be in touch with the contact information. And guys, thanks again once more for participating in the giveaway, participating in the conversation, being here since the beginning. This is our fourth episode of Becoming with the Hashtag I Movement. It has been a joy to bring this to you and to engage with all of our partners and engage with our subscribers. Um, Thank you once again to our panelists. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening and sharing your perspectives on the topic health and body positivity. Can the two coexist? And we have established that it is a complex relationship, but you do have to look at them separately. Yeah? So, guys, thanks again. Enjoy your Sunday evening. Have a great week ahead. And thank you for joining us here at Becoming with the Hashtag I Movement.
Thank you for having us.